Hello, welcome back to another Commander Day. We're gonna be discussing the Gitrog monster, aka Frogulon, as I have lovingly called it throughout the years that I've had it. At least I'm gonna do a quick audio test, and then we will continue onwards. So one moment, please. I'm gonna do a quick audio test, and then all right, that sounded like me. That's good to know. If it was someone else, I think that'd be I'd have more questions than answered. But anyways, let's talk about the Gitrog. This was a birthday present, I think like 3-ish years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. I got this as a gift deck, and I made small changes here and there, but a lot of it is still, I mean, the thought is still there. Like everything is still mostly here. I'll just kind of show some of the stuff, like the accessories and whatnot. As you can see why I call it the Frogulon deck. So we'll discuss some of the things that are here. Obviously, we have the Gamegenic sidekick. It's the one that has the display leader or display commander. As well, I got some Kraken dice. Always with the Kraken. If I can get Kraken, I will try to get Kraken for my stuff. To full set, I think it looks good. Pretty nice green. Also really soft. I love the unfinished one, or I love the finished ones. Because normally, if I'm trying to save money, I'll get the unfinished ones and just, color them myself. Come on. But they'll never have like this nice satin soft finish that Krakens tend to have. On top of that, I'll put this away. God, I love this thing. If I could recommend anything, I would recommend the deck box. It's so good. And then of course we have the hard sleeve, which has our commander on it. So there you go, the Gitrog monster. This is the secret layer one. Came out about, I don't know, maybe a few years ago. It is, oh gosh, I'm not gonna be able to read this, am I? Okay, let me try to read this. Okay, Death Touch. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice the Gitrog monster unless you sacrifice the land. You play an additional land each of your turns. Whenever one or more land cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, draw a card. 6/6 or 5 mana. Pretty old school commander. It's one. Okay, that's good. Just making sure you can't see me. Anyways, yeah, this is the Gitrog monster. Also, in case you didn't see, I got a pretty cool playmat. This is I talked about it last year, but this is one that I saw from the Jake and Joel stream. He was one of them was using this playmat. I'm like, I gotta get that. So I did my research, found it, got it. Looks super cool because it's got Godzilla. It's got Ulamog? Kozilek, Ulamog, and Emrakul. Yeah, I think this is Ulamog. Trying to remember the big three titans. But yeah, anyways, this was a commander deck given to me for my birthday. It's actually a deck I had on Architect for quite a while, and then for one of my birthdays, my brother got it for me as a birthday present, and I was eternally grateful. And since then, I've just been making small upgrades here and there to keep it up to date and somewhat consistent, pretty strong. It is let's see, it's got a salt score of 48. It is an estimated bracket 3, which is fine. I think that's fair. And what is the mana curve? The mana value is 2.9, so it's almost a 3, which is like right on the edge of where you want to be for some of these things. But I'm a little more lenient because it's a green deck that likes to ramp and play extra lands. So I'm a little more lenient on this one. It can be a little chunkier than the others. I think it's fine. Now, something you probably wouldn't be able to tell right from the get-go, and then we'll also talk about the sleeves before I move on. Here are the sleeves, art done by the very talented Zach Hadel. This was just a whiteboard drawing he did, and I was like, oh dude, that's sick. He posted it on Twitter, and I just grabbed it from Twitter and made sleeves because I thought this was so funny, and it really sums up the Gitrog monster pretty well, like the whole strategy and everything he's trying to do. But the reason why I have this deck put together, and the reason why it's like a 3 and not like a 5 or 4, well, 1, it was a gift, so it's gonna have minimal upgrades, and 2, it's actually a secret commander. It's a secret commander deck, which shock and awe. It is Babala Saga, Night Witch. You can never get to see Babala Saga. Come on. I thought this was a really cool strategy when this was released. that was a cool idea. It took about maybe like 6 months to a year for me to actually realize what this card did. And we'll read it. So it's a 3-mana creature, legendary creature, human warlock. Tap, sacrifice up to 3 permanents. If there were 3 or more card types among the sacrificed permanents, each opponent loses 3 life and you gain life. And you gain 3 life and you draw 3 cards. So this is primarily what I wanted to build the deck off of, is Bala Saga. Let me turn on a light. I might not be able to. No, I can. Hold on. I'm gonna make sure there's a light, because I just noticed that my overhead light is not on, so I'm gonna go work on that. But yeah, Baba Saga is just like a cool commander idea that I wanted to do. Especially when Joey, what's his name? Joey Shorts? Joey from EDH Rec did a deck tech on it and started showing it off and, you know, talking to people about it. I was sold. I was immediately sold on the deck idea. So just so I don't get blinded. There we go. I think that's fine. Not too bad. All right, yeah. So I decided to build the deck, or build my version of the deck. I don't think this is the exact deck he would have built, because there are definitely some changes and differences between our 2 decks. But I'm quite happy with it. Which is why I think it stays at a 3. It should be a 3. It's a secret commander deck, so really, like, I thought these 2 kind of synergized close enough to where I can kind of get away with using it as a secret commander deck. But I'll show you the list and then you can make the decisions yourself. We're gonna start off with the board wipes, since it's the smallest category. It's gonna be the easiest to burn through. And we have 3 board wipes. First one is Toxic Deluge. Dun-dun. There you go. Staple, we talked about this just recently. It's a sorcery, 3 mana. As an additional cost of the spell, pay X life. All your creatures get X. All creatures get -X until the end of turn. Just cheap board wipe, easy to wipe basically everything on the field. Massacre Girl. This is a secret layer drop, which is one of the main reasons why I'm still playing her in this deck. If I can ever, yeah, there you go. We got to see her for like half a second. Come on, work with me here. The lights are definitely not working with me. Let's see. That definitely makes it worse. Oh, that makes it just as bad. Oh no. All right, but yeah, that's Massacre Girl. It is a 5 mana legendary creature, human assassin menace. Whenever this enters the battlefield, each other creature gets a -1 until the end of turn. Whenever a creature dies this turn, each creature other than Massacre Girl gets a -1 until the end of turn. So it's a it's just a board wipe. It's similar to Toxic Deluge. Semi-low mana. It's giving things -1 counters. And as soon as it starts to pick up momentum, because I was pretty low on this creature, it was mostly the secret layer that convinced me to buy it. But, you know, after I got the secret layer and I started using the card, once you play it, you start to realize it's actually pretty strong. It's legit. Like, as long as you can get 1 creature off, you basically got the whole board. Like, because then it becomes like a domino effect, essentially. Because whenever you kill a 1/1, or like, you know, if something was close to dying, you play Massacre Girl, you give it a -1, it dies, and then the next thing gets another -1, and then this kind of like escalates to a board wipe, essentially. So there's Massacre Girl. Bane of Progress, more of an interesting one. So Bane of Progress, 4, 5, 6 mana creature element. When this enters the battlefield, destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Put a 1/1 counter on Bane of Progress for each permanent destroyed this way, and it's a 2/2. So another board wipe, more like specialty board wipe, where we're just getting rid of artifacts and enchantments with it, and then getting like a decent sized body out of it. Similar to Massacre Girl, where you don't really see the value until you play one, and then you're like, oh, okay, I understand. It's actually not that bad. And our next category are the protection spells. So some of these are a little outdated. I don't know if I'm gonna update them anytime soon. I feel like the deck is in a pretty good place, and I'll also say this deck hasn't had a lot of upgrades since the last time I did a video on it. It's been about a year, and a lot of the cards have stayed the same. I think I made like a couple of, like most of my decks, I think I mostly upgraded the land base and the draw engine, or the draw support. So I think that's mostly what we're gonna see as far as like changes from the last time. But yeah, some of this stuff hasn't been touched in a while. So Swiftfoot Boots, protection spell, 2 mana equipment. You equip for 1, you give something hexproof and haste. Pretty good. Lightning Greaves, similar effect. You pay for 2, give something Shroud and haste, and it equips for 0. That's honestly pretty good. Heroic Intervention. No. Good old classic protection spell. Prevent your permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until the end of turn. Good old fashioned way to protect your stuff. Old school stuff. This one's gonna be a hard one for me to read. This is Arachnogenesis. Arachnogenesis. There you go. There's Arachnogenesis. This was one of the cards that I heard from EDH Rec that I was like, oh, I didn't know this card existed. And then I saw the price. I'm like, oh, that's why. But then the price came down when I got a reprint. So I'm like, okay, I'll pick it up for the reprint price. So it says create X 1/2 green spider creature tokens with reach, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to you this turn by non-spider creatures. So pretty good protection spell, unless you're going up against a spider deck. Then it's over. You've lost. No, not really. There's plenty of other stuff. Angel of Suffering, another wacky inclusion into the deck that could probably be changed out, but I probably won't change it out because it was part of the original list as well. 5 mana Angel. It is a Nightmare Angel. Has flying. If damage would be dealt to you, prevent that damage and mill twice that many cards. Kind of feeds into the strategy of playing stuff out of the grave with like some of the other cards in here. You get to play lands from the grave. Gitrog lets you play an extra land, sacrifice stuff. You know, prevent damage. So you'll get a couple of extra turns to figure out what you're gonna do with yourself and mill the correct cards you need. Next part is, I believe, draw. Now the draws is pretty small. It's pretty shallow draw. I think this one's like 10 or less, but we do have our 2 commanders that do draw pretty consistently once they're out. But I did put some pretty good draw spells in here to make sure that we can push ourselves over the edge. So our first one is Worldly Tutor, one that just got recently added to the Game Changer list, which is a little unfortunate because I was hoping this deck would stay at a 2, but you know, it's not really a 2. I think it is fairly a 3. It is a fair 3, but you know, it feels like a 2 sometimes. But Worldly Tutor is a 1-drop green instance. Search your library for a creature card and reveal it. Shuffle your library, then put that card on top of your deck. So the way you want to play this is you play it on your opponent's turn. You search up Babylon Saga, put it on top of your deck, and then when it's your turn, you draw the card. Not bad. Ripples of the Undead. This is a really good one. This is a more recent addition to the whole thing, where I was like, okay. I was really off of this card for like a good long while. I think what, Modern Horizons 3? Something like that. This came out not that long ago, and I had put it off for a pretty long time because I'm like, I don't need it. And then I'm like, okay, I need it now. So it's a 2 mana enchantment. Beginning of your pre-combat main phase, mill 3 cards, then you may pay 1 and 3 life. If you do, put a card from among those cards into your hand. So the idea is that, you know, low mana commitment. You only have to pay 1 generic to draw a card from your pre-combat main phase. Not bad. It's milling 3, so it plays kind of into our graveyard strategies. And overall, I think it's a fine card. I just put it off for a long time because I was really low on it. Green Sun Zenith. Was this a game changer? No, it's not. Okay, good. It's another one of my tutors. So Green Sun Zenith is X green sorcery. Search your library for a green creature card with converted mana cost X or less. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Shuffle the Green Sun Zenith to its owner's library. So this, you know, potentially reusable tutor spell that if you pay X into, you can either search out Babylon Saga, or what I normally do is I'll search out what is it, Dryad Arbiter, another great land card that we'll run into. Well, land card we'll run into later. Bene Strupimo. So this is Greater Good. This is from the Sheldon Secret Lair, which I believe this is all in Italian, Spanish, similar languages, but I'll do my best to read it. I also have a translated version here in case I can't read it. So it is Incentesimo sacrifica una creatura pesca carte pari a la plaza de la lucha sacrifica poi sacrata tre padres. La vida y bella. So, sorry, you couldn't even see that. It's a beautiful card. Super beautiful card. I mean, I wish I understood the meaning behind the art that they chose for this. But this is greater good. Obviously, I'm going to read it in English now, so I have it over here on the side. Sacrifice a creature, draw 3 cards equal to the or draw cards equal to the sacrifice creature's power, then discard 3 cards. Beautiful card, beautiful art. Viva la. I think this is Long Live Bella, if I had to guess. But gorgeous card. I'm so glad I bought that Secret Lair. I'm always going to sing praises about the Sheldon Secret Lair. It's a brilliant man. Anyways, our next card is Braids, a Risen Nightmare. Honestly, the better Braids, even from the new one that just got unbanned. So this is a 3-mana creature. We can never get back to focusing. Legendary creature. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. If you do, each opponent may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with it. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. So plays really great into the Bottle of Saga strategy. Also lets you draw cards because no one's gonna be dumb enough to sacrifice stuff with you unless they have like a token deck that they don't care about. But yeah, you're also sacrificing like artifact, land, creatures, so it's like 3 types that people aren't gonna want to do. So really good card draw. Speaking of good card draw, Black Market Connections, another great piece of card draw and ramp and creature board presence. All around just generically good card. Crazy that they made this an actual thing and put it into I think a pre-con. But either way, I'm gonna try to read it. 3-mana enchantment. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, choose 1 or more. So we can sell contraband, create a treasure token, lose 1 life, buy information, draw a card, you lose 2 life, hire a mercenary, create a 3/2 color shapeshifter creature token with changeling, then you lose 3 life. So all around, this thing does a little bit of everything. The only thing you have to watch out for is the cost of life. Because you're paying a lot of life to do 1 or more of those things, and it's not a May ability. You have to choose 1 on each of your pre-combat main phases. So good thing to keep in mind in case you were wondering, or if you ever wanted to get the card. Next thing is ramp. We have a good chunk of ramp. However, it's like kind of bad ramp because well, I say bad. There's some good ramp. You can see Utopia Sprawl on the top, so it's not bad ramp. It's just strange ramp for a landfall deck, mostly because of Bottle of Saga. But Utopia Sprawl, 1-mana enchantment, aura, enchant forest, enters the battlefield, choose a color. Whenever the enchanted forest is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 1 mana of the chosen color. So this fixes your, turns anything into like a dual land if you need it to be. So it's really useful, really handy. Sanctuary Weaver, mostly because it's an enchantment creature, that's why it's here. It's a 2-mana enchantment creature. Tap, add X mana of any 1 color, where X is the number of enchantments you control. It's usually not that many, so we end up just grabbing like 1 or 2 extra mana. Usually it grabs mana for itself, so it's a guaranteed 1 mana, but it's mostly just a extra typing to sacrifice the Bottle of Saga. Paradise Mantle is a 0-mana artifact equipment. The creature has tap, add 1 mana of any color, and then equip for 1. So cool, very cool, because then you put this on a nothing creature, it becomes a mana dork, and then later on you can sacrifice the creature and this to get 2 of your 3 types for Bottle of Saga. Also, great Secret Lair as well. Super cool art. I wish this one was a lot more vibrant than the others, because out of all the Secret Lairs that came from this set, this is the only one that was like really more dull than the rest. There you go. The colors didn't translate as great as I wish they did, but it still looks great. The art looks awesome. Even in foil, still looks good. I just wish it was a little more saturated than what it originally is. Liquid Metal Torque is a 2-mana artifact. Tap, add colors. Tap, target non-land permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types until the end of turn. So obviously we're doing that because of Bottle of Saga. Also, potentially we can do it to one of our opponent's creatures. Turn one of our opponent's creatures or something, or land, no, non-land, so like one of their artifacts, one of their planeswalkers into an artifact, and then use one of our artifact removal spells to get rid of it. So pretty good utility. It's fine. It doesn't have a lot of homes in my decks because there are better things I can be doing for 2 mana, or better rocks I could be using. but I do like it. I think it has a really good deck for it to be in, because this deck is kind of like the oddball. So I like having stuff like this in there. Dryad of the Elysium Grove, 3-mana creature, 60-man. And it says you may play an additional land on each of your turns. Pretty good. Lands you control have every basic land type in addition to their other types, so it's color fixing. Lets you play an extra land each turn, and it's also an enchantment creature, so it synergizes amazingly with this whole deck. And then a very familiar face, Delightful Halfling. We've seen this a few times already, or at least one other time. It's a 1-mana Halfling Citizen that taps for colorless. Then it has an additional tap where you can tap, add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast a legendary spell, and that spell can't be countered. So what was that, like, was it Cavern of Souls that had this ability? This is basically a land, a very powerful land on a creature, so that's why it's here. It's no reason not to have it. Crop Rotation. Now this is the one I know for a fact it's a game changer. Yeah, they recently threw this into the game changers, and I'm a little like, I wish they didn't, but I know why they did. I just wish they didn't, because it's not necessarily that this card is the problem. It's more so that Field of the Dead is the problem. I don't think the tutor is inherently the issue here, but I understand. I will concede and say that it is probably needed. So Crop Rotation is a 1-drop instance. As an additional cost of the spell, sacrifice a land, search your library for a land card, put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So obviously, you use this to tutor up Field of the Dead. That's really what it's for. It's a Field of the Dead tutor. Unless you have something more powerful than Field of the Dead, which is shocking in a land deck. You know, other lands do exist that are stronger, but I like this one a lot. Burgeoning came with the Secret Lair as well. There you go. Was this Kellogg's? No, I don't think so. Oh yeah, it is Kellogg's. Okay, good. That's why I bought it. Yeah, here's Burgeoning. It's a 1-mana enchantment. Whenever an opponent plays a land, you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. So obviously, since we're a land deck, we want to be playing as many lands as we can. This enables our strategy to do so. Azusa, Lost by Seeking, 3 mana. Unfortunately, I don't have the Secret Lair version of this one because I gave it to my brother. But I do have the original extended art, which I think is just fine. But I do miss the Secret Lair one, honestly. It's so good. The art was amazing. But yeah, there you go. Azusa, Lost by Seeking, 3-mana creature. You play 2 additional lands on each of your turns. That's basically it. That's the whole reason why we're playing it. Just more land drops. Awaken the Woods. Awaken the Woods. There you go. X, green, creature. Well, not creature, sorcery. It makes creatures, though. So create X 1/1 green forest dryad lands, creature tokens. And then, you know, that's basically it. They are land creature tokens that you pay X. So obviously they're great for our Bottomless Saga. They're great for our landfall strategy. There is obviously it's a green black deck. There are going to be landfall things happening in here. So this just enables the strategy while also supporting our secret commander. Our next one is target removal, which is a good chunk of cards, about 10. Okay, sorry. I'm like looking at this dude, Mr. Moneybags. Anyways, Beast Within. There you go. Beast Within. Classic removal, 3-mana instance. Destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. Good old-fashioned removal. No reason not to have it. Oh, it's 3 mana, so it's kind of a little expensive, but you know, it gets rid of whatever the issue is, which is nice. This is Broken Bonds. It's a 2-mana sorcery. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So this plays into the landfall strategy. It gets rid of like some difficult to remove types. So it's made its way into the deck. It's not bad. It's a sorcery. It's the only reason I'm kind of like meh on it. Next one is Deadly Rollick. We can take a look at it without everything exploding. Come on, focus. My camera has been like horrible with focusing lately. There you go. So it's a 3-mana instance, which we're never going to pay 3 because it's a game changer. No, it's not a game changer yet. That's right. If you control a commander, you may cast this spell without paying its mana cost. Exile target creature. So free removal. Yippee! We love removal. We love cheating things out for free. Let me look at, where's my removal package? Just want to make sure it's not a no, it's not a game changer. Okay, good. That is good to know. Always happy to hear that. There we go. And then making sure no one's leaving comments. I always have to check because you never know. Okay, next one. Grim Hireling. This was more of like we're just gonna add this to the deck because I have one and I don't have like a decent thing to replace it with, but it still works in the deck. I think it's just generically good ramp and removal we can ever get to look at. There we go. Or get to look at the art. There you go. Grim Hireling, 4-mana creature. It has whenever one or more creatures you control dies, deals combat damage to a player, create 2 treasure tokens, pay black, sacrifice X treasures. Target creature gets a -X, -X until the end of your turn. Activate only as a sorcery. So, obviously, we're trying to attack. It is a proactive card. It does make you attack to create treasure tokens. So that's good. And then when you do make the treasure tokens, you can kill something, even if it has a hexproof, because it has -1 or negative counters. So pretty good generic card. This could end up leaving. I mean, it makes artifacts, so it has a home here, but it's not my favorite piece of removal, but it's good removal. Kindred Transformation is a 2-mana enchantment or enchant creature. When this enters the battlefield, draw a card. So card draw or cycling. Then it has enchanted creatures loses all abilities and is a green out creature with base power and toughness 3/3. So this gets rid of whatever issue we're having. Yeah, any creature, and then it replaces itself. So not bad. Throw this on a commander and you got yourself a pretty good time. Manglehorn. A little older, little less played card, but good nonetheless. It's a 3-mana. Whenever this enters the battlefield, you may destroy an artifact. Artifacts your opponent control enter the battlefield tapped. That's primarily the main reason why we're playing it, because it enters artifacts entering the battlefield tapped means that treasure strategies don't work with opponents. So if you have an issue with, like, I don't know, like an Dragon making hundreds of treasure tokens, or like a what's his name, the Jund one, Corvol. If you have a Corvol in your pod, this is going to be their worst nightmare. They're going to hate to see this. A couple of other commanders that care about treasures, that care about artifacts, forcing them to enter and tapped is always a good idea. So I do like this card a lot. It's really performed above and beyond my expectations, so I'm happy with it. Nature's Claim is a 1-mana instance. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Its controller gains 4 life. There you go. Good old classic removal. Old school stuff. Speaking of old school, here's the new school stuff. Nowhere to Run. It's a 2-mana enchantment. Flash. So that's the most important part, is that it has flash. When this enters, target creature an opponent controls gets -3/-3 until the end of turn. Creatures your opponents control can be the target of spells and abilities as though they didn't have hexproof. Ward abilities of those creatures don't trigger. So this gets rid of hexproof and ward, and it gives something a -3/-3. So it's pretty good. I like it. Yeah, not bad. I like this. I'm glad it's not an aura or an equipment, because that would suck. I'm glad it's just an enchantment that sits on your field and just either kill something or, you know, just makes everyone's day a lot worse. So it's really good. Terra Sunder, 2-mana sorcerer, or no, 2-mana instance that has a kicker cost, and I'll read the card for you. So it's a exile target artifact or enchantment, which is fine. If this spell was kicked, exile target non-land permanent instead. We kind of want to kick this the majority of the time. However, 2-mana removal for an artifact and enchantment, not the end of the world. And then it's pretty flexible, so I do like that about it. It's just a lot of extra mana to do it. And then Withering Torment, just basically a straight up replacement for another Feed the Swarm, like actual just replacement for Feed the Swarm. So it's a 3-mana instance. Destroy target creature or enchantment, you lose 2 life. Not bad. Instead of losing life based on mana value, I believe is how Feed the Swarm worked, you only lose 2 life instead. So it's far easier pill to swallow. I believe you're paying 1 extra mana, but No, that's not the end of the world. Now we're going to the bulk of the deck. Make sure I grab the actual bulk. I don't accidentally grab too much. Yeah, that's it. So here's the next category of cards. I believe, can we look at the amount? Yeah, 25. So this is about average for my decks, about 25 for the main strategy that we'll be committing. Our next one's gonna be 40, so that's our lands. So you gotta get ready for that. Yigra is how we're gonna start this whole thing off. I think I'll put this down here and then just bring up the cards. It doesn't matter if you get a little spoiler. So Yigra, the showcase one. If we can ever actually get to see Yigra. There you go. I like this one. It's like the sketch encyclopedia style art one that they did for them for the Bloom Barrow stuff. So it's a 5 mana legendary creature, elemental cat. It has ward, sacrifice food. Other creatures are food. Okay, other creatures are food artifacts in addition to their other types, and have pay 2 tap, sacrifice permanent. You gain 3 life. So obviously synergizes amazingly with our secret commander, giving everything an artifact typing along with their other typings. And then whenever a food is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put 2 1/1 counters on Yigra. That gets out of hand very quickly, like unbelievably quickly. Like Yigra alone could probably take out a whole player by themselves. And you know, with Baba Saga, it just turbo ramps this whole thing. So super good card, man. I was I was a bit blown away when I first played this card, like how strong it actually was. I was like, oh my god, I wasn't expecting the card to pop off that well. So definitely staying in the deck. I like it a lot here. Next one is Wormcoiled Engine. 6 mana, artifact creature, 6/6. It has Death Touch, Lifelink. When this dies, put a 3/3 colorless worm artifact creature token with Death Touch and a 3/3 colorless worm artifact creature token with Lifelink onto the battlefield. So when it dies or you sacrifice it, you get 2 versions of it. It basically splits in half. One takes the Death Touch, the other takes Lifelink. Pretty good card, especially with Bala Saga. Vigor is more of like a one of those tech cards that I wanted to put in because I thought it was nifty. So it's a 6 mana Vigor creature. Yeah. Trample. If damage would be dealt to another creature you control, prevent that damage. Put 1/1 counters on that creature for each 1 damage prevented this way. Onboard protection for your creatures, so you get things really big with this guy out. And then one of the main reasons why I have it here is when Vigor is put into the graveyard from anywhere, shuffle it into its owner's library. So if the graveyard does end up getting a little too stacked, you basically this, you know, once it gets milled, it gets shuffled right back into the grave. So pretty good like way to, you know, recycle your graveyard. Pretty handy. I also have the black version of that as well in the deck. We'll see later. So I always want to say Titiana, but it's Titania, Protector of Argoth. It's a 5 mana creature, legendary creature, elemental. Whenever this enters the battlefield, return target land from your graveyard to the battlefield. So let's just play a land from our grave. Whenever a land you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put a 5/3 green elemental creature token onto the battlefield. So obviously with the Gitrog monster, whenever we sacrifice the land, we make a big body with this. And this is like, this is another one of those cards you gotta be careful with. If it ever sticks on the field, it's gonna be a bad time. So Tireless Tracker. I don't know if I have the Witness, but I have the Tracker one. I think this is the one that makes the clue tokens and gets buff. So 3 mana. Human Scout. It has whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, investigate. So you make a clue token, you pay 2, sacrifice it, draw a card. Pretty good. And then whenever you sacrifice a clue token, or whenever you sacrifice a clue, put a 1/1 counter on this. So as you're making tokens, as you're drawing, as you're sacrificing them, this gets much bigger. So this does become a threat pretty quickly. Staff of Titania, another great card, which I'll read right now, but you'll understand very soon why. Because equipped creature gets XX, where X is the number of forests you control. A lot of times this ends up being my win con. Hold on, like a little bit of, there you go. And then whenever equipped creature attacks, create a 1/1 green forest dryad land creature token. So that's the main reason why we're running it. It's a 3 mana equipment, or equipped for 3. But the main reason why I like it is because whenever it attacks, it creates a forest creature token, which is obviously what we want to see with Bala Saga. Obviously with landfall, you know, triggers happening. That's what we want to see. So I do like this a lot in the deck. Oh god, here's another dumb card I gotta read. Let me find it. This is Shieldred, the Apocalypse. So as you can tell, this is the Phyrexian one, which is, you know, a lot cooler, except I can't read it. So I always have to look up the dumb card whenever I draw it or play it. There you go. 4/5 for 4 mana. So Shieldred the Apocalypse is a Death Touch. Well, it's a legendary creature with Death Touch. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. So this is just, holy moly, really good value. Like, I wish it was an enchantment, but it's not. It's a creature, which is fine. Really good Praetor. Really strong ability. I'm shocked how good it is. Because obviously you're getting a ton of life with Babala Saga, then you're getting life with this, and then whenever your opponent does draw a card, they're losing life passively. So it becomes an issue pretty quickly. Scoot Swarm, another issue card. Scoot Swarm is a 3 mana creature. This is the this showcase version. It actually looks really cool. I do like it a lot. There you go. So it has hold on. Let me drink something because my throat. There we go. I need to put this somewhere where it's not going to get wet, or it's not going to get everything wet. There we go. We'll just say that's good enough. All right. So Scoot Swarm. It has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. If you control 6 or more lands, create a token that's a copy of Scoot Swarm instead. So obviously that's kind of the big sell, is the second part of that ability, where it's like once you're at 6 lands, then you start making copies of this, and then as you start making more and more lands, more and more land drops, this gets exponentially out of control. So, you know, first time it makes 1, then they make 4, then they make 8, and then, you know, it gets exponential beyond that point. So love that card. It's a problem. This, honestly, this would be a game changer. I would say Scoot Swarm is more of a game changer than Crop Rotation, but I understand why Crop Rotation's on the list. But this is an issue. If this sticks around, oh man, does it become a problem so quickly. Rotmouth Viper, another card from Bloom Barrow, really cool art. Love the encyclopedia style. What is it? Biology sketches. I love the sketch look of this. Well, the sketch. What's the word? It just escaped my brain what this is called. The anatomical sketchbook. But there's another word I'm thinking of. Don't worry about it. I can't think of the word right now. But it's a 6 mana creature, Elemental Snake. As an additional cost to this spell, you may sacrifice any number of non-land permanents. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each permanent sacrificed this way. So obviously we can drop this down to a 1, but I don't tend to do that very often. But it's good that the ability is there to drop it down to 1. So whenever this enters or attacks, put a blight counter on it. Then for each blight counter on it, each opponent loses 4 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. So this gets exponential as well, because first time it does it, you get the blight counter, and then, you know, it does this little thing here where it's like, okay, they can lose 4 life or you lose a card. Then the next time it attacks, it gets 2 blight counters, so it has 2, and then they can either lose 8 life or get rid of 2 cards, and then it just, the ball rolls really quick with this one. So I do like this as well. A lot of super power creep stuff happening recently, so I'm really happy about it. This is Rabunap Excavator. Was it Ramunap? Nap. DJ Snake Lawn, as we like to call him. 3 mana, Narga, Cleric. You may play lands from your graveyard, so that's the main reason why we're playing it. Just to play lands off of our grave. Very rarely will this attack. Just gives us a way to play lands from our grave, so we can, you know, meet the Get Rog requirements, and we can also meet the Babala Saga requirements. So that's why he's here. Omnix the Fallen, landfall card. 5 mana, 3/3, landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may have target player lose 3 life. If you do, put 3 1/1 counters on Omnix the Fallen. So obviously less traditional landfall ability, because you know, landfall, make an opponent lose 3 life, then you put a 1+1 counter on this, and then that in itself becomes exponential as well. So very cool. I love that card. Life from the Loam. 1 mana enchantment, no, sorcery, or 2 mana sorcery. Return up to 3 target non-land cards from your graveyard to your hand, and then it has dredge. Dredge 3 is if you would draw a card, you may instead, if we can actually look at the thing. Hello, wake up, wake up. There you go, dummy. Oh yeah, Life from the Loam. It has dredge 3. So instead of drawing a card, you may instead put exactly 3 cards from the top of your deck into your graveyard. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand, otherwise draw a card. Obviously, that's exactly what we want to do here, because, you know, with Gitrog, all the saga, and this, you get like this massive recursion engine, because you're starting to return a lot of lands from your grave into your hand, and then obviously you're turning through your deck, which is then filling it up with more lands, giving you more uses out of this, and it's just good. Amazing card. And then Karn, the Great Creator. I love this art. This is from the Bloom Barrel set, and I think this is my favorite art by far for a Planeswalker. I think it looks so silly. It's like, I love looking at his face. He's like, what the hell? What happened? He's like, what did they do to me? I'm just a tree now. What happened? I was an all-powerful Planeswalker, and then they turned me into a tree. They turned me into a tree, Morty. Why would they do this? I love this card. It's so silly, and it actually worked pretty well in this deck, as we'll read right now, because it's a 4 mana Planeswalker Karn. Activate abilities of artifacts your opponent controls can't be activated. Baseline, that's already good. That should be enough to put it into a deck, but then it has a +1. Until your next turn, up to 1 target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness, each equal to its mana value. So obviously, we +1 this, and then, you know, we can sacrifice something to this. We can do a creature land, turn it into an artifact, and then Bala Saga can eat it. Then as a -2, reveal an artifact card reveal an artifact card you own from outside the game. Oh, that's right. I've never used this ability. This is like something for like extra decks or something like that. It's not applicable to Commander, so I don't even, it's never gonna -2. But yeah, I just love this card. And it works pretty well in the deck. I think it's fine. I just think it looks silly as well, so more of a reason to play it. Journey of Eternity, or Journey to Eternity, is just, we've seen this card a few times. I actually really like this card. I feel like this is a staple in most Ugari decks. So it's the 3 mana, aura, enchantment, legendary. Enchant creature you control. Whenever enchanted creature dies, return it to the battlefield under your control, then return this to the battlefield transformed. So obviously, if you enchant this onto like a creature, and then you sacrifice this creature to Bala Saga, it's a creature, enchantment, and then that's 2 of your requirements, but usually we're putting this on an artifact creature. So artifact creature, enchantment, sacrifice these 2, and then this gets the flip. And we've seen the flip version before as well, where it becomes a land. Astol, Cave of Eternity. It is tap, add 1 mana of any card to your mana pool, pay 5 mana, tap this, return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So graveyard recursion. Obviously in this deck, the cost is not that bad because we ramp so aggressively, or we play a lot of lands in this deck. So having 5 extra mana is not impossible. The thing that this deck runs into, the biggest issue of this deck is card draw. That I've noticed, because I never seem to draw the stuff I need. That just might be a skill issue, but I think that's about it. As far as like the weaknesses, I feel like it's a really strong deck to go up against. So I think it's an appropriate 3. So this is, let me see if I can read that. Oh God, I can't. That's Vine Slasher. Vine Slasher, I can't read that word. What is this word? Iridescent Vine Slasher, Iridescent Vine Lasher. It's a 1 mana creature, Lizard Assassin. Has offspring for 2. You may pay an additional 2 as you cast a spell. If you do, when this creature enters, create a 1/1 token copy of it. So for 3 mana, you make 2 versions of this. One of them is going to have, well, they both have landfall. Whenever a land you control enters the battlefield, this creature deals 1 damage to target opponent. So obviously when you make 2 copies, like you have this and then you have the copy, it's going to do 2 damage to your opponent. So really good card. I like this a lot. The landfall card. Next one is one that I am shocked how expensive it was. My god. Stupid card, man. I don't know why this got so expensive. I don't see anyone ever playing this card. Greensleeves. Marco Sorcerer. Macro? Really? Macro? It's a 5-mana creature. Elemental. Protection from planeswalkers and from wizards. Sure, cool. And it has Greensleeves. Power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. We'll see another ability like that soon. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you create a 3/3 green badger creature token. So, why is this card like 20 bucks? That's like honestly my actual question here. Let me look. Yeah, Greensleeve. How much are you? Yeah, you're like 22 bucks. Why are you so expensive, Greensleeve? I think this came from Jumpstart. A lot of random commanders from Jumpstart just end up having random values like this one in particular. But it's not bad though, because landfall, it makes a 3/3. It's cool. I guess because it's a mono card, a mono green card, and not like a Gruul. Because the what's the jelly bean's name? Omnath. Omnath is like a good Omnath is the Gruul one, and it does whenever a land enters the battlefield, you create a 5/5 elemental or something along those lines. So that would be better in this deck, but it's a Gruul card. This is just mono green, so it kind of fits in. It's a more strategy, so I can kind of see that. Next card is Dredge. Dread is a 6-mana creature. What is this? Elemental Incarnation. So it has fear. Whenever a creature deals combat damage, whenever a creature deals damage to you, destroy it. Pretty good. And this is whenever this is put into the graveyard from anywhere, shuffle it into its owner's library. So again, another thing that lets you kind of not mill yourself out. So always useful to have these cards that just don't let you mill out, which is great for like Angel of Suffering, as we saw earlier. Angel of Suffering will mill you out if you're not careful. Cards like this kind of keep you from dying immediately. And it has fear. I think fear it can only be blocked by artifact creatures and black creatures, I think. Pretty niche thing, but I like it. It's fine. It's a good card. Crucible of Worlds. I think this is a showcase. I forgot from where though, but it's a showcase. I think it looks awesome. Love this showcase. You may play lands from your graveyard. So just static ability, artifact, pretty good for 3 mana. Creeping Renaissance. It's a 5-mana sorcery, I believe. Yeah. There it is. That's the art. It's got a lot of creepy snakes. Looks very scary. Choose a permanent type. Return all cards of the chosen type from your graveyard to your hand. Flashback for 7. So usually, I think we just want to grab our lands back, if I remember right. And then it has flashback, so we can do it again. So not bad. I like it. So if we ever mill this, we can always play it for its flashback cost. Conduit of Worlds. Another good card. 4-mana artifact. I know. All will be 1. So this is, you may play lands from your graveyard. Main thing we want to do with this. However, it does have an extra thing. Tap this, choose target non-land permanent in your graveyard. If you haven't cast a spell this turn, you may cast that card. If you do, you can't cast an additional spell this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. So, pretty good. Not only will let you play a land from your grave, but if you get a chance, if you want to play something from your graveyard, you tap this, pay the mana cost, and then play whatever you want from your grave. So, pretty cool. I do like that card. Blooming Tortoise. 4-mana creature. There he is. Cute little guy. Love this dude. It is, whenever this enters the battlefield or attacks, build 3 cards, then return a landing card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Activate this ability. Okay, activated abilities of lands you control cost 1 less to activate. Land creatures you control have a 1/1. So obviously, everything we want to do in this deck, this enables. So obviously we're trying to make a lot of our lands into creatures. This reduces the cost of that. And then it also gives them a buff. And then of course it also lets you mill cards and then play lands from your grave. Really good card. Awesome card. This is Bloodgeist. 2-mana creature, vampire spirit. This can't be blocked, or it can't block, and it has haste as long as an opponent has 10 or less life. Pretty good. Then, yeah, there we go. And then it has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may return this from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it's a 2/1 body that is always just it's always aggressive. This little turd just won't go away as long as we have lands to play. And it doesn't matter what happens to him, right? Because all he's doing is he's just straight up attacking. So it doesn't matter if he lives, if he dies, he's coming back. So really like this card a lot. Really cool landfall card. Bitter Blossom. This is, I believe, a showcase. Looks really good. So this is a 2-mana enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may lose 1 life and create a 1/1 Black Fairy Rogue creature token with flying. So primarily, this is just to get an extra creature, obviously get an extra body to attack with, and then that's primarily it. Good card. Ashaya, Soul of the Wild, 5-mana creature. There it is, Ashaya. There's the ability. So this the power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. They can get pretty big, considering we have 40 lands, and we can very likely play 20 quickly. So non-creature tokens you control are forest lands in addition to their other types. Great for Bauble of Saga. Obviously, this is what we want to be doing. So that's the bulk actually of the deck right there. That's primarily everything the deck wants to do. However, about a little less than half of the deck is actually sitting right here. So this is where a lot of the there's a lot in here. A lot of lands. I'm gonna pull the basics out. Put the basics there. Because yeah, it's about, I don't know, 38. No, way more than that. It's like 30-ish, a little more than 30, I think, of just unique utility lands. And not all of them are color fixers or like fast mana fixers. A lot of them are utility lands that are like, oh, you know, it becomes a creature, or, you know, it does something weird. So we'll go through it. So Vineyard Catacombs is a shock land. You pay 1, tap this, pay 1, search your library for a swamp or forest, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle this, then shuffle your library. So really good, especially if you can play it back from the grave. You can just color fix yourself immediately. Vault of Whispers. There you go, Warhammer card. It is an artifact land, which is what Bauble Saga cares about, and then it taps for black. Thankfully, it's untapped. Valgavoth's Lair. Like when I saw this card being spoiled, I was like, holy moly, I need this. Because it's an enchantment land, which we only have one other enchantment land in the deck. It's actually, you can see it right there. So it has hexproof. This enters the battlefield tap, choose a color, tap for any color. So pretty good. Well, it taps for the color you chose. Here's the Saga. This is one of the bread and butter cards of the deck. Obviously, it's an enchantment land that makes an artifact, and then it tutors for an artifact as well. Basically, tutors for Soul Ring. So yeah, that's pretty much it. As the sagas, as the turns continue. So whenever it's your turn, you start at 1, then it's your turn again. You push it to 2, so then you can do these 2 abilities, and then when it's your third turn, you can do all 3 of these abilities depending on if you can pay it or not. So really good card. I like it a lot, obviously. Should I read it? Honestly. So first one is this gains tap, add 1, and then it gains pay 2, tap this, create a 0/0 colors construct artifact creature token. With this creature gets a 1/1 for each artifact you control. Pretty good, because it's 2 of the types that Bauble Saga is looking for. And then it has the final one is search your library for an artifact card with mana value cost of 0 or 1, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. So obviously we're looking for like, well, not Soul Ring, we're looking for like the mantle, some other things in here that are 1-cost artifacts. But yeah, really good. Underground Stadium. It is enters the battlefield tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents, and then it taps for black or green. Also, I have the showcase. I should show that off. I'm really bad when it comes to lands. Showing off the goods. There you go. And then Underground Mortuary. It is a swamp forest. Tap this. If we can ever actually get to look at it. There you go. So it has Underground Mortuary enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, it surveils for 1. Look at the top card of your library. You may put it into your graveyard. So could be useful if you need to put something in your grave and then do some shenanigans to pull it back out. Tree of Tales. artifact land that taps for green. There you go. The Microsith Garden. This is a weird land. There you go. So tap, colorless, pay 1, tap this, add 1 mana of any color. We're never doing that. Or X tap. This becomes a copy of target non-token artifact you control with mana value X. So a little more interesting because then this becomes an artifact land. Yeah. So I think it keeps its land typing, if I remember correctly. Because if not, you can also copy like an artifact land creature. So just a really good way to get like extra types in there. So that's why I like it. Takanuma, Abandoned Mire. We've seen this in the past. I believe this is the only channel land I have in the deck. I don't think I have, what is it? Boseiju? I don't think I have Boseiju here. So tap, add black, channel, 3 and a black. Discard this, mill 3 cards, return a creature or planeswalker from your graveyard to your hand. This ability costs 1 less, attack 3 for each legendary creature you control. So lets you mill and then return something from the grave to your hand. Strip Mine, good old classic. White bordered strip mine. It has tap, add one colorless mana to your mana pool, or you can do the tap, sacrifice this, destroy target land. As we saw earlier, if we can ever get this to focus again, there are some really strong lands in this deck. In most decks, I would say. There are strong lands that you definitely want to strip mine away, so always good to have one just in case. Restless Cottage is our next one, Showcase. This randomly gained value for no reason as well. This is like a less than $1 card. And then all of a sudden people wanted it. Which is fine because it does what I want. So I didn't mind paying the $1 for it. So it enters in tapped. You can tap it for black or for green. And then you can pay 4 mana. This becomes a 4/4 black green creature horror creature token or creature until the end of your turn. It's still land, so it becomes a creature land until the end of turn. Whenever this attacks, create a food token and exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. So graveyard removal, and then it also makes a food token that's an artifact, and then this becomes a creature land. So that's covering 3 of our types, and then it's also exiling stuff from other people's graveyards. So good card in this and a Bauble Saga list. Overgrown Tomb, beautiful card. This is from the Unset Infinity actually. You can ever actually get to look at it for more than like half a second. There you go. It's a swamp forest, enters the battlefield tapped unless you pay 2 life. Pretty good land. Mutavolt, another one where it just becomes a creature land. The typing doesn't really matter, but the fact that it becomes 2 types is what's important. So tap, add colors, or you pay 1. This becomes a 2/2 creature with all creature types until the end of turn. It's still land. So that's the part we care about. Mishra's Foundry. Again, another thing we're trying to do in the deck. Or Bauble Saga. This has tap for colorless, pay 2. This becomes a 2/2 assembly worker artifact creature until the end of turn. It's still land, so it becomes a artifact creature land. Exactly what we need for Bauble Saga. And then it has pay 1, tap this. Target attacking assembly worker gets a 2/2 until the end of turn. We never do that. But you could do it for Mishra's Factory. If you really wanted to. And here is the showcase for Mishra's Factory. Really good land. I mean, good in this deck. Good land in this deck. There you go. So it's similar stats. So tap for colorless, pay 1. This becomes a 2/2 artifact creature until the end of turn. It's still a land. So that's our 3 types. And then tap this, other assembly workers get a 1/1 until the end of turn. So similar effect. Interesting 2 cards. This is Mirrex. Mirrex is another one that makes, I believe, artifacts. So it taps for colorless, add 1 mana of any color, activate this spell only if this entered the battlefield this turn. So it enters the turn, and then you could make either green, black, or whatever color you want. But after that, it'll just make colorless. And then, if you pay 3, tap this, create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature token with toxic. Well, it has toxic 1, and this creature can't block. So obviously, we make a Might, we make a creature artifact, and then this is a land. So this does meet our 3 types. So that's why he's here. Malkari Meyer, you've seen this in the past. This enters in tap. This is a MDFC land. In case you haven't seen one before. Wake up. Stupid camera. There you go. So it's a tap land, tap for black. However, if you choose, you can just, you know, choose to cast it for its other side, which is a 1-mana instance. Choose target creature. You lose 2 life until the end of turn. That creature gains whenever this creature dies. Return it to its battlefield, tapped under its owner's control. So obviously, when we sacrifice things to Mishra, we can actually do like a, like for instance, if we turn this into a creature and then we sacrifice it to Mishra, we can actually play this in response and let it come back to the battlefield. So really good effect. I like it a lot. And then next one, Ikamoth Nexus. Here is the secret layer. This is a cool one that my brother got me. I love the tattoo art of this. I like it just because my brother got it. So it is a land, colorless land, taps for colorless. You can pay 1. This becomes a 1/1 artifact creature with flying and infect until the end of turn. It's still land. So it covers our 3 types. Plus, it also gains infect, flying infect. This is probably one of the most busted infect cards we have because holy moly, does that matter? Near unblockable infect creature that sits as a land. That's an issue. So I do like that as like a sneaky win con. And then this is Frostwalk Basin, Frostwalk Basin, colorless land. Also, it's why we have snow lands in this deck. So pay 1, pay snow land. Until the end of turn, this becomes a 2/3 construct artifact creature. It's still a land. So artifact creature land. Whenever this deals combat damage to a creature, tap that creature, and it does become untapped during its controller's next untap phase. So if you do attack with this, you can freeze something, but primarily we're using it to sacrifice to Bala Saga. Feel of the Dead, our game changer of the deck, our main game changer. There you go. It enters the battlefield tapped, pay 1 colorless, or it adds 1 colorless. And then whenever this or another land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands with different names, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So obviously, it's Commander. We have a bunch of different named lands, as you can tell. Like the majority of our land base is all different types. I don't believe it works for basics, but regardless, it's making 2/2 zombies almost every turn, if not more than 1. So we're making like at minimum 1 zombie a turn, at most like 5 or 6 zombies a turn. So it becomes out of hand very quickly. Definitely worthy of game changer status. Except I never can draw this card, so whatever. I'm not gonna worry about that. Belmire, another MDFC land that we have. Arguably the better one. Well, one of the better ones. This one. This one is it enters the battlefield tapped unless you pay 3 life. And then it enters in untapped. And then it taps for black. But if you flip it, it's a 4-mana instance, destroy target creature or planeswalker. So good removal. Actually, we can show the art off as well. Since we took the time to show the front, might as well show the back. Just because the art looks sick, you know, this is really cool art. And then if you didn't see the effect, there's the lands effect right there. There you go, in case you were wondering. Fatal Passage, probably my favorite land to play in this deck. There you go, tap, sacrifice this, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle this into, then shuffle. Then if you control 4 or more lands, untap that land. So untaps your basics, and the Gitrog can play it back from the grave. You tap it, sacrifice it, get more stuff, get more landfall triggers. Beautiful, beautiful card. I'm so glad it's in here. Dryad Arbiter. What is my creature doing in the land base? Well, because most of the time this is just a land. So it's a 1/1, no mana, land creature. That's basically it. It taps for green. This is just basically a dual type that we need for Bala Saga. And yeah, I mean that's primarily it. It'll tap for color most of the time. It's a mana dork at the end of the day. It's a searchable mana dork, which I think is great. Death tap Deathcap Glade. There we go. The land enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. I think that's a Tangle land. And it taps for black and for green. Dark Moss Bridge, artifact land. That's the main reason why we have it. Enters into the battlefield tapped. Has indestructible and taps for black and for green. Dark Maw Savage. There you go. Enters the battlefield tapped. Tap for black, and then you can dredge 2. Talked about dredge. Instead of drawing, you can choose to mill 2 cards and then return this to your hand. So good card. Great to have. Very easy land to sacrifice to these 2 as well, because you sacrifice it, then you dredge it out, and then you sacrifice it again, dredge it out. Pretty good. Command Tower. Real staple. I believe this is also the one from the Sheldon Secret Lair, if I remember correctly. If you can ever actually get to see it for 1 second. Come on. Show me the goods. There you go. You got to like see it for like half a second. Ugh, this sucks. I can't. Why is this? Why is it the sleeves? There we go. So tap, add 1 mana of any colors in your commander's identity color. So tap this, add any color from your commander identity. Good rainbow land. Blinkmoth Nexus. This is a another one of those artifact creature lands. So tap for 1 colorless, pay 1. This becomes a 1/1 artifact creature with flying until the end of turn. It's a land. And then pay 1, tap this. Target Blinkmoth creature gets 1/1 until the end of turn. I believe this synergizes with the Inkamoth, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, we're just using it for the 3 land types, or the 3 typing, so we can give it to the Bala, give it to the big baby. And then our last card, finally, is Valglade Sanctuary, which of course we know is a tap land. Taps for green. However, you can flip it for a cool surprise. Ooh. The 3 mana sorcery, Valglade Recovery. Return target card from your graveyard to the hand. Yeah. So this pulls whatever you want from the graveyard back to your hand. I actually use this side a lot more than the land side, so really useful card. I'm glad that I have the cards I do in here. And then, oh yeah, that's right. We have the basics. Give me a minute. There we go. And then here's the basics. I have 2 snows of each color. I'll show off the pixel lands because they're the ones that I like. There we go. I only have 1 of the pixels, 1 of each color. This is just the basic Kaldheim one. And then here's the forest I choose to use after I clean it. There you go. There you go. It's the unset Infinity. And then I will show you the swamps. Here's the 1 swamp that I have, the snow covered swamp that I got. These are secret layer ones. It puts a sour taste in my mouth when I say that, because these are the secret layer lands. But honestly, these were just so cool. I just had to get them. I mean, it's unfortunate. I wish they gave you more than freaking 1. And then I have the Kaldheim ones that I was using before. But I think it was worth it. I think the swamp was worth it. You know, snow-covered swamps are tough to come by, so I was like, that's when I buckled. I did buckle for the swamps, or for the snow-covered secret layers. Stupid cards. There we go. And that's our swamps. We only have 3 swamps. Well, technically 5. 5 swamps, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 forests. So, yeah, that's the deck. That is everything since last year. I think for the most part, there wasn't a ton of changes to this deck, honestly. It stayed mostly the same. I made some changes, like as sets came out and more powerful cards made themselves very obvious. But beyond that, this deck has mostly stayed the same. It hasn't needed a ton of upgrades. However, it got pushed from like, I think a 2 to a 3 because of the game changers, and that's a little unfortunate. So I'm like, do I want to push it back to a 2? I don't really want to push it back to a 2. I'm okay with it being a 3. It's just, it's a little annoying because it's a Secret Commander deck, so it's just inherently not going to be the strongest deck. But, you know, in the same vein, it's also a landfall deck, technically. It's a Gitrog deck, so you know, how weak can it really be? If not that weak, I'll give you a hint. Not that weak at all. So it's still like can punch above and below. But I wish it was, you know, ranked a little lower, but that would require me pulling cards out, and I'm definitely not pulling cards out. Other than that, I don't know what else to talk about. I think that's mostly what I want to bring up into the discussion. Now it's just trying to shuffle it so I don't screw myself next time I play this deck. So I don't draw all the counter spells and then nothing to do. Well, I don't even think I have counter spells in this deck, no. So I don't draw all the protection spells and then have no lands for the next 6 or 7 games because I did a bad job of shuffling. But yeah, I think that is it for today. We have one more deck to look through, and it's the my favorite one, my first one, my baby. It is the Eldrazi deck, the colorless deck. Those 2 words, well, I shouldn't say, I'll give you a little hint. It's not a colorless deck anymore, but it is an Eldrazi deck still, so I'll give you a hint of what's going on there. It's not a 5-color deck. I'll tell you that right now. Right off the bat, it's not a 5-color deck. So you don't have to worry about that. The majority, like 90, well, no, what is it? 3. There are 3 colored cards in the deck. Everything else is still colorless. And I'm still pretty happy with the deck. I love both of these decks, honestly. These are like this deck and the next one are the 2 decks that will not be taken apart. Like, I refuse. Because this one was a gift to me, so that's the main reason why I want to keep it together, because this was a gift. I'd like to keep the spirit of the deck alive if I can. And then the next one was my first deck, and it's had so much time and money put into it that I would feel bad about getting rid of it. This also needs to just put into here. I'll shuffle it later. There we go. And then you go back to your home, back to where you came from, Frog. But yeah, that's the deck. I still love this deck. It's still fun to play. It's I will say this is a headache of a deck to pilot. I don't like piloting it because there's a lot of things you have to keep track of. It's not brain empty. I like brain empty decks. This one you got to keep track of triggers, keep track of stages of the game, and keeping track of landfall triggers and stuff like that. It's a nightmare. Every time I play this game, it's because, or every time I play this deck, it's because I need to like exercise my brain, you know. Like, this is usually the last deck I play in like a commander session, and yeah, because this deck takes it out of me. Like, by the end of the game, I'm like, okay, I need to like eat sugar because my brain is like it's operating in half speed right now because I had to invest so much time into thinking about this stupid deck. But yeah, I do like this deck a lot. It's a 3. I don't know if it's actually a 3. It might be a 4. That just plays really bad. But I think there's a lot of weird pet cards in this deck that I like having in the deck, so that's why I argue that it's a 2, but I know it's not a 2. I know for a fact it's not a 2. The game changers alone push it to a 3. So what can you do? But yeah, anyways, I'm wrapping things up. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Hopefully you like this deck. Let me know what you thought about the deck in the comments below, and I will go ahead and love you and leave you here. And until next time, next week, same old, same old. I think we're gonna go back to Timberborn for a little bit, so we'll see about that. Anyways, all right, I will see you guys next time. So bye 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 bye.